This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, August 23rd, 2010, and this is episode 763 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. And joining me on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome to the show, Mike.
I'm never ready when you come to me first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. Sorry.
No, it's my fault. It's not nothing to do with you.
Also joining us on today's show is Len, Naughty by Nature Testa. Welcome to the show, Len.
Hip, 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 hooray.
There you go. Also joining us on today's show is the fabulous Annette Owens, a manager of customer relations and group services by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome to the show, Annette.
Hey, nice to be back. It's been forever.
Who's that
It has
again?
been quite a while. You were off in the West Coast. And how was your trip to the Pacific Northwest meet?
The Northwest.
Norse. It's went to Norway.
Wow.
It's like the left side of Norway.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
Northwest.
nobody on the West Coast is listening. No, it was great. I had a great time. A not even 48-hour stay in Seattle. I'm just thinking you should stay longer if you're going to fly over the West Coast. Just saying.
Yeah, it's a little bit. But on today's show, it's funny you mentioned needing a little more time, Annette, because on today's show, we're going to be talking about what we would do at Walt Disney World if we had just a little more time. And, there's just never enough time for a lot of stuff at Walt Disney World. And it seems like whenever you go down for your trips, you've got so much planned, and you just say, oh, God, if I just had, one more morning, we could do this or we could do that, and then I could, be a lot, happier, I guess I could say. But, it doesn't necessarily work out that way all the time. But today we're going to kind of... it's not reminiscing. It's contemplating what we would do if we had just a little more time to spend in Walt Disney World on our given trip. And Len, you suggested this topic before we got started, so maybe perhaps something came to your mind initially when you thought of the topic?
There were a couple of things. One is I would sit down for a tea service at the Grand Floridian because it always looks like fun. I mean, there's nothing wrong with people giving you small biscuits and cookies and cake, right? And sandwiches with crusts cut off.
Do you wear the hat, Len, or do you not wear a hat? I could just see you in this big bonnet type hat.
Yelling at you, my name is Mrs. Nesbitt.
if it's Easter, I would, right?
Oh, wow.
His little pinky sticking
I would
out.
I think people would pay good money to see that.
And I would hold my pinky up as I drank my tea, and I would use the word lovely a lot.
Lovely.
And cheeky, just because I like the word cheeky.
I know how you Greensboro boys are.
The other thing I would do is I would go out on I'd rent like a pontoon boat or one of the big boats out on the Seven Seas Lagoon, and I would yell piratey things out at the at the ferry as it passed, like "Avasti, scurvy dogs!"
Oh, gosh.
I don't know about that, but I would try and raise a pirate flag up and see what happens.
On your ship that has a governor on the boat that you can't go over 5 miles an hour.
He's going to fix that.
I think that would be hysterical just to be able to do that all day. Plus, who doesn't like the smell of diesel exhaust in the morning? I swear, it's like a little Cheerio to your lungs.
I like your ideas, Len. It's one thing that people always ask me about when I moved to Walt Disney World, or I moved to Florida. I didn't really move to Disney, but
You live in Walt Disney World?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, you remember that burning house on Tom Sawyer Island? Great,
It's you. Got a great deal on it.
yeah, great deal. Just a little.
Neighbors are a little crazy, but geez, the trains. But my God,
When I moved to Florida, the people always ask me, what's different about living in Florida so close to Disney World? And I say
bugs, alligators,
hurricanes.
Humidity.
I always tell people, one thing is that one thing that's different is I have so much more time for the sort of activities you just outlined, Len. Like before I moved down there, I really never had time for the watercraft rentals or any of the resort-based activities. Just to me, it's not that I didn't want to do them. It's just that like the purpose of this episode, I just felt like I didn't have time because I wanted to focus so much on park-centric stuff.
Exactly.
And this stuff actually, the stuff we're talking about, we're talking about if we had maybe an extra day to squeeze it in. But in reality, you can do a lot of this stuff in that downtime that you have maybe in the evenings or, when you're taking a break or something like that. It's something, you can build it around your schedule. And it's not impossible to work out. It's not like you have to be down there for 2 weeks in order to work this in.
You could do it. It takes a little bit of planning. And you could do any one of these things, in a couple of hours.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes.
No, I like the watercraft rental. It is a lot of fun. You know what? I like to rent the Boston Whaler. I've done that. I feel like it's like the happy medium between the little bitty water mouse boat and the pontoon boat. I feel like I don't know. I feel.
See, if I rented something with the name Boston Whaler, I would feel obliged to wear a Brigham Young beard, a black overcoat, and bring a harpoon, and say the whale, the white whale. I would have to do that, and I'd always keep one eye closed, like argh.
Just drag your right leg across the ship.
Exactly.
How about you, Annette? What would be something that you would do if you had just a little more time at Walt Disney World?
Well, something that I think would be very cool. I've parasailed at Castaway Cay. I would love to parasail and look over at the Magic Kingdom.
Haven't done that
I think
yet.
that would be very cool. And a lot of times I like to just go around, especially around Christmas. We're always down there in Christmas time, but I don't have time to go and look at all the decorations because I'm running around with reunion stuff.
Sorry.
Well, no, I love it, but it's just I need to add on another day so that I can go and look at the decorations and really, see what's changed, what they're doing different.
Absolutely. I mean, the resort set for Christmas is really a lot of fun, and obviously, whatever resort you're staying at, you're going to see what they have there. But there's really something at all the resorts to check out. So I agree with that quite a bit. I actually saw. It's funny you mentioned the parasailing because I just saw. I mean, this was last week now, but there was a coupon on that website Groupon.com. And they had one for like half off. The Sammy Duvall's the company that runs all the stuff like the parasailing and the boat rentals at Disney World, and they had a coupon for like half off or something. It was a great deal on that. But that would be something fun to do because I think the cool thing if you're doing it in Bay Lake, especially, you could look over to the Magic Kingdom and get some great views. I'm sure. What about you, Noel? What's something you would do if you had a little extra time?
Something I like to do, especially in like Annette said. In December is resort hop. I love to go around and just walk around the resorts. It's something that you don't normally do.
That's a great idea.
I just always love doing that. Like when I first went down to I stayed at Dixie Landings at the time. It was called, and I just loved walking around, looking at the landscaping, just looking at the architecture and taking pictures. And that's something that I always love doing.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
I agree.
And did you by taking pictures? Did you mean snacking along the way?
Oh, of course.
Okay, like a little something in every resort.
That's
I've actually done this. I've taken first timers before, like unofficial guide first timers, on a tour of like all the moderate resorts in one day, and it's a hoot.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It's really relaxing.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's especially great for maybe people who are considering what to do when it's really hot out. That's a great idea because a lot of times you can do a lot of indoor stuff walking through the main buildings of the different resorts.
Yep.
And,
And what I do is when I do that, I start to plan my next vacation. Do I want to stay here? Do I want to stay there? It just gives me an idea of what I want to do on the next trip.
When I do that, though, usually what I'll do is I'll run up into someone's room, like where the maid is, and I'll phone down and say, yeah, I'd like to get the bounce back offer. Only change the name to Testa. Yeah, that's the ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave it on the same credit card, though.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, ma'am. Here's your $5.
Wow.
That is a great idea, though, because you can go. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can see, especially if it's hot outside. You can go to the deluxe resorts, which are very well air conditioned. I don't know that you'd want to be touring Pop Century when it's 90 degrees outside, but if it's nice, you could do the moderates or the values, and if it's hot, you can do the deluxes.
Yeah, it's a great way to spend some time around the area, and it's also great. If you're looking to save some money, maybe you don't want to burn a park day. Park hopping is always, or resort hopping rather, is a great idea.
That is a great
and it's
idea.
free.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Right, but Matt makes a good point.
But I love the idea of snacking around the world. That takes it out of Epcot.
It's a good
Around
thing.
the rest
For
of
lots
It's
of
a good
miles,
thing
doesn't
Scopa's
it?
not here to hear that.
One thing I do like to do, if I had a little more time, even for me, are the tours in the parks. I just feel like I don't have the time, or I never think of it, or whatever it may be. Take some of the tours they have in the parks. I know that Len and Newell both have done the Segway tours, both at Epcot and Fort Wilderness, and that's just really just a little bit of the tours they have. I really want to do the behind the scenes tour. I Don't know why I haven't
It's
done
a
it.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like $5. It's like $10, $15, right? It's like that cheap.
It's $5, $10, $15, $20, $25.
15,
Yeah.
depending on when
It's
you-
going up as we're talking.
But you know what's good about that tour, Matt, is it's not very long, so you're not going to burn a whole day
Right.
on the tour. So, I mean, if you had a couple hours, you just wanted to wind down and be inside, and not that it's all air conditioned, but
Yeah,
you know,
it's fairly warm in there actually
Yeah.
because it's a greenhouse.
right. But on a
Glenn,
nice
you've taken
rainy
that
day,
tour
if,
before, and which room do you, which area of the pavilion do you go to where you start licking the wallpaper and the schnozberries taste like schnozberries?
The raspberries take less raspberries. I actually used that line yesterday. Hannah and I were making smoothies with strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries, and I said, "The strawberries take less strawberries."
Wow.
Classic. Thank you.
wow.
Awesome.
Thank you. I did. There's lemongrass at the end, and you get to eat it.
Oh, there is really.
Yeah, really.
Oh, that's
And it tastes like lemongrass.
Yeah, really. By you get to, I mean when the cast member's back is turned, you can grab it, just pull it, shove it in your mouth. I don't just to make sure we're all clear. on
Hey,
this.
the Florida legal statutes clearly say finders keepers. It's just written in there.
The founding fathers wrote it in.
Yeah, you can ask Glenn Sonoda. He showed it me. What are some other things you guys wanted to try out, but never seem to have enough time for?
Yeah, I'd love to walk through all the shops in downtown Disney. I know that they change periodically, and I haven't had a chance to do that.
On the west side, you're talking about?
On the west side, yeah, I haven't been through it in forever. And then even then, like, I'd love to tour like the restaurants within like a quarter mile of Walt Disney World. I think that'd be really useful with a
So
car.
Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, Burger King.
No, I mean,
Taco Bell.
Yeah, you know my quest for a good Chinese restaurant outside of Walt Disney World, right?
Yeah, I'll let you know when I find one.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's rough, but that's some interesting points. Going off property is always something that I think there are a lot of good off property stuff to do. I mean, the Gaylord Palms has a great main building to walk around in.
Oh,
and
yes.
It's the atrium, I think it's what's
Oh yeah. It's very pretty during winter too. They have the that like
The ice
Christmas and ice thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that I mean they have that. You've got oh geez, I mean you obviously have the other theme parks in the area, but you've got obviously some decent dining options around the area. There's a lot of cultural stuff going on in the area around Orlando. You've got Gatorland.
Is it still around?
Yeah, it's still around. Heck yeah, as Newell would say.
Heck yeah.
It's there are a lot of things to do, and this is why it might be fun, even if you're just renting a rental car for like a day. Because I think don't forget, you don't have to just rent a rental car at the airport. You can actually rent them. There seems to be each major company is represented either on Walt Disney World property at the Car Care Center or at Downtown Disney.
Right.
At the hotels over there, the Downtown Disney resorts, like the Hilton has Avis and like Holiday Inn has Budget, and they all have these little offices over there. So you can rent a car from those locations and then, rent it for like, maybe 24 hours, bring it back the next day or something like that. So you're not paying an exorbitant amount of money, but you're still having that ability to kind of get out there a little bit and have some flexibility without being tied down to having to pay for the car the whole week, say, or whatever your trip duration is.
Right, and there's an office actually in either the Swan or the Dolphin right now. I can't remember which one, but that one's
yeah.
kind of convenient to get to if you're in a park and just need to run over and get a car for the day.
Yeah, that's right. And if you rent from Alamo or National, which is at the Car Care Center as well, maybe somewhere else, they will come pick you up. I know that's Enterprise's little line, but they have,
But
but they do have a
but
shuttle.
others do it.
Yeah. So, no. What about you? What's something else that you always lament that you don't get a chance to check out?
Well, one of the last things we did this trip was we stopped at Fort Wilderness and did the archery tour, which was
You did the
something-
archery?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, it was.
I didn't even know they had an archery tour.
Where you been?
They let you shoot weapons.
Well, they let Mary
Not
shoot
if you're-
weapons. They didn't let me shoot.
Okay, all right. So they've got some brains in their head. All right, cool.
Tell us a little bit about that, Mike.
So I'm probably out. But what did Mary think
Yep.
of it?
Oh, she loves. Well, she shoots to begin with. She has. We have a target in our backyard, and she knows how to handle a bow. But
Do not mess with Mary. Just
Yeah,
saying.
well,
no.
that explains that shirt she got you with the big red dot on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she said it was from Target or something like that.
Yeah, she goes, this nice Target logo shirt. You can wear that. And yeah.
What they were giving these away. It was something like Earth Day. They were giving them away for free or something. Yeah.
But you know what's good about
Did she
this?
send you off in the woods later on with like deer antlers for a hat?
Yeah, put this on. Go take a walk.
Here, the
in that.
logo goes on the back, honey.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
the front. It goes on the back.
Take the brown jacket and wear this hat.
My murder is going to be so much fun for you guys.
So tell us a little bit about the Archer. I haven't heard,
Well,
heard anything about it, but I
she's-
want to try that out.
She's an amateur, obviously, so she's always picked it up, on her own, and she's read some stuff on it. But to actually have somebody, explain the right way to hold and the right way to shoot, it was a great time. We had to cut it back short because it started to rain on us.
Mm-hmm.
But she got some tips out of it, which was cool. And any time to go to Fort Wilderness for me is a hoot. So.
What did they give you? One of those like awesome like carbon based bows, or was it like the old timey like Indian cowboys and Indian?
No,
bows and arrow.
It was proper set.
Okay.
It wasn't the fancy, $1,000 one you get, from
Right. Okay.
I'm not shooting deer or anything like that. So it's just mostly targets. So it wasn't anything really expensive or really fancy, but it was pretty decent equipment.
I see. That's something I always wanted to check out. That's interesting that you got a chance. Well, Mary got a chance to do it.
Yeah, I would have done it, but I have this, injury, that I tore my rotator cuff a few years back, so I don't have that kind of strength that I used to have in my left arm. So
And the Mets just haven't been the same since.
never.
No. Speaking of the activities at the resorts, also the deluxe resorts really have a lot of different stuff to do. Something I've never done yet is they have movies shown almost every night at. I know that the deluxe resorts have
Fort
it.
Wilderness, yeah.
Yeah, Fort Wilderness does it, but I'm saying even like
on the
Yacht
beach.
Club. They
Yeah.
have the big blow up screen. They play movies on by the water, and that's something I would love to be able to do. Just go over there one night, grab some popcorn or something, stop in the counter service restaurant and go out there and just watch whatever movie they're playing over there. And it ranges. Sometimes they play old movies, sometimes they play new movies, and it's interesting to be able to take some time out and try those out because it just seems like a lot of fun.
Hey, Matt, you pop the popcorn at home, ride down there, and you've got a cheap date with Marissa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll put the
saying.
Jiffy Pop on the carburetor, and we'll be all set.
Pop the Jiffy Pop on the engine as you drive down there.
the engine.
Drive 100 miles an hour to get there.
To make sure it pops.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jiffy Pop is we remind this every time we did a Tent Fest, but we always say, why don't I want to use Jiffy Pop anymore? It was so cool, and then you realize why you don't do it anymore because you have to move this stupid
Takes
thing.
forever.
It takes
All the
forever. You
time.
have to keep moving it all the time.
Have we become a nation of lazy, so lazy that we can't sit there and shake a little popcorn?
With popcorn, yes.
Yes.
To all our international listeners, I apologize.
Exactly.
We're calling ourselves lazy.
If you were
know.
Scopo, what would Scopo want to spend enough time doing?
Where's Belle?
Where's Belle?
He would probably lament not having enough time to talk with Ben Franklin again.
You park the car. I'll go find Belle.
What would Scope?
That's actually a good question. What would Scopa do?
Here come the jokes on Twitter. I,
I
need
know.
to see it now.
Oh, yes.
Send your comments with the hashtag. What would Scopa do?
What was Scopa do?
WSD. What would Scopa do?
What are some other ones you got there, Lon?
What would Scopa do? I think
One thing I just thought of one thing.
Try-
Not Scopo, just me, but the dining with an Imagineer thing.
I don't know. I just end up talking shop. It doesn't sound like it'd be fun.
You want to enjoy it?
I don't know.
Okay, well, to each their own.
See, I think the spa for me, I've never taken the time to go to the spa.
Oh, yeah, I would totally do that. Yeah.
I mean, really and truly, it's kind of like I could do it at home, but wow, it would be a neat little treat.
Yeah, it was funny because we had the last cruise we went on, the Disney cruise in for a reunion last year. Newell and I were shocked to learn that you had never done I don't know if you ever done a massage on land, but you never done a massage on sea, and you finally did it for your first time.
Yes.
So,
My first time on the cruise.
okay. Have you ever done it on land before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But no, that was my first time with Disney Cruise Line. After going on 14 different cruises, that was the first time. So
Crazy.
it's hard to find time to do some of that stuff. Well, especially when you're working, but
Len, do you still like Saratoga the best for spa treatments, or has the Grand Floridian grown on you?
I think I have to go back and check it. I've heard much
I think
better
you should
things about-
send me to go check it, and then I can mark this off my list.
Well, we can talk about that. Okay. I've heard really good things about the Grand Floridian recently. The last couple times we evaluated it, the reason their scores were down were they had broken equipment.
And burn the eyebrows off one of your researchers?
No, that was
Yeah.
Gaylord Palms. It wasn't the Disney
Oh,
Resort.
okay, sorry.
That's
My
fine.
apologies.
But that was why. So we'll have to go back and check.
Interesting. Okay. Anyone have one last thing that they would do?
I still think I'd go through Downtown Disney and sample all the food.
Oh, that sounds
All
fun.
of
All about food, man. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
just saying.
Okay, very good. Well, that was a good episode, and of course, we're looking forward to hearing what you think Mike Scopa would do if he had a little more time in the parks. I'm certainly he would enjoy reading those. But,
And since he's not around, we'll have
since
fun.
he's not around. That's great. Don't forget also this Sunday on August 29th is our next WDW2 live show. It's going to be at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on August 29th, so come check that out, please. Details at WDWtoday.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can, of course, visit the WDW Today website, WDWtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, and, of course, the fabulous Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hotchkiss. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.